You have been lied to about what it means to be disciplined. You were taught that it was all about having strong willpower when you felt lazy or unmotivated. You were told that waking up early and making to-do lists was the key, as if simply organizing things on the surface would fix deeper problems within you. But the honest and brutal truth is very different. True discipline is not about random bursts of effort or hoping you wake up feeling magically motivated each day. Discipline should be thought of as a war. It is an internal war that you must fight. In this war, you have to be the one in charge. You must govern your own mind, just like a prince governs his army. If you do not, you will be defeated and crushed by your own personal weaknesses. Most people live their lives like cities that are falling apart. They are constantly invaded by their impulses and sabotaged by their own internal sense of disorder. They easily become victims of the very first temptation that they see. They do not understand that true freedom comes from having a strategic approach to discipline. Without this kind of strategic discipline, you can never have real strength. You will not find victory in your life if you cannot control yourself in this way. People who do not impose a sense of order on themselves will find that they are always enslaved. They become prisoners to the chaos that is all around them. Niccolò Machiavelli, a thinker who is often misunderstood, knew this better than anyone else. Many people talk about being positive, but Machiavelli saw things differently. Machiavelli looked at human nature with a cold, surgical view. He knew that the world does not simply reward people who have good intentions and mean well. The world gives its rewards to people who are disciplined. It rewards those who are able to maintain their control, even when they are under a lot of pressure. For Machiavelli, having discipline was not just a moral choice to be a good person. It was not some beautiful, far-off ideal. It was a matter of survival. Without having discipline, both a king and a regular person were destined to fail. They would both end up in the same place, which was in ruin. Here is the most difficult part of this truth. The moment you fail to govern yourself, you give away your power. You hand over the keys to your destiny. If you think discipline just means waking up early only on the days you feel good, you should forget that idea. It is not the correct way to think. If you believe that simply wanting something is enough to keep you on the right path, you should also forget that idea. It is not enough to succeed. This is not for people who want easy and comfortable advice. This is for those who are ready to take on the difficult job of shaping themselves. True discipline requires you to always be watchful. It demands strategic planning and a level of self-control that never gives up. You must build an internal fortress. Machiavelli did not write his works to make fools feel better. He wrote to train people to be strategists and to arm their minds for reality. When we think about discipline from Machiavelli's point of view, we must forget childish ideas. It is not about willpower that is based on fleeting motivation. For Machiavelli, discipline is all about having a solid structure. It is about using strategy to your advantage. Ultimately, it is about your own survival. Without it, even a very promising person can become easy prey. They will be defeated by the forces around them that they are unable to control. In his book, The Prince, Machiavelli states that good order in an army is the source of good order in a state. Discipline is what makes this possible. He makes his point very clearly. Without having discipline, no city, no army, and no single person can last for very long. They will not be able to endure. The order you see on the outside is just a reflection of internal order. The stability of a nation is based on the discipline of its people. There can be no lasting victory for those who are slaves to their own impulses. You cannot conquer anything if you cannot first conquer yourself and your desires. There is no real authority for people who do not first govern themselves. You cannot lead others if you are not in control of your own actions and thoughts. What Machiavelli saw so clearly is that discipline is not an accessory. It is not something that is only for times of peace. It is a permanent armor. For him, Discipline is the one thing that keeps a ruler steady. It helps them resist the temptation to act out of feelings like anger, fear, or vanity. It is the ability to stick to your strategy. This is true even when everything around you is screaming for you to make a quick, impulsive decision. An undisciplined prince, Machiavelli said, is a danger to himself. His downfall will not come only from his enemies, but from the gaps inside his own character. Acting without thinking and moving without any preparation are sure paths to failure. Reacting without any reflection will lead you to your own downfall. Discipline, because of this, is not something you should practice only when it is convenient. It has to be a rigorous and consistent daily habit. You should think of it like constantly maintaining a strong wall. This wall is what protects you from the decay that is an inevitable part of life. Machiavelli saw human beings as being weak to corruption. He knew that desire, pride, and fear could easily take over a person and lead them to ruin. Only by being relentlessly vigilant over your own self can you resist this. It is the only way to fight the powerful force of self-destruction. And this idea does not only apply to rulers of nations. Every single person who wants to be the master of their own destiny must apply this discipline. If you do not take the time to govern your own mind, it will be governed by other things. Circumstances and emotions will end up controlling you. Those who are governed by others, in Machiavelli's view, are already dead politically. They may still be standing, but they have already fallen from power. But Machiavelli's thinking on this subject goes even deeper. He compares the human spirit to a battlefield. On this battlefield, discipline is the only thing that matters. It is the only line that exists between having a great triumph and being completely annihilated. It is a war that you must fight with great command. Imagine an army that is marching off to war without any training. They have no strategy and do not obey any orders. What do you see happening? You would see a slaughter that was announced before it even began. It would be an inevitable massacre. No amount of spontaneous bravery could save these soldiers. They would not know how to resist the feeling of panic. They would not be able to endure being tired, and they would not master their instincts. For Machiavelli, this was exactly what condemned armies and weak states. It was the complete absence of any true and real discipline among the soldiers. In one of his books, Machiavelli writes that undisciplined soldiers will not obey the orders of a wise captain. This is a very important psychological principle. If your mind is like an undisciplined army, then none of your own commands will have any effect. You can make resolutions and set goals for yourself. But if your thoughts and impulses are not trained to obey you, they will run away. They will desert you at the very first sign of a challenge. You will find that you are constantly sabotaging your own best decisions. You will end up betraying your own ambitions because you lack that internal control. Military discipline for Machiavelli was the true essence of victory. It was what allowed a few soldiers to overcome many, and the weak to beat the strong. A small army that is very disciplined is much better than a large, undisciplined crowd. The exact same principle applies to your own internal world. A few thoughts that are well-trained and obedient are much more powerful. They are stronger than thousands of desires that are all in conflict with each other. Real power is not found in the number of ideas that you have. Instead, it lies in the mastery that you are able to exercise over them. Now, you should take a moment to reflect with brutal honesty. How many times have you failed in your life? Not from a lack of talent, but control. How many promises that you have made to yourself have you broken? This is not because you lack ability, but because you allowed other feelings to take command. Just as a foolish general loses his battles before they are even fought, you lose at life. This happens the moment you abandon your mental discipline. Military discipline means waking up every day with the same firm determination. It does not matter at all how you are feeling on that particular day. It means that you obey the strategies you have set for yourself. You do not listen to your emotions that are always changing and cannot be trusted. It is acting even when your body is in pain. It is moving forward even when your soul feels like it is about to falter and give up. Victory belongs only to the people who do not retreat. It is for those who do not back down when they are faced with the harshness of the path. Machiavelli knew that battles are not won just by using brute force. They are won by having a relentless sense of order and constant vigilance over yourself. The modern world often glorifies feelings and looks down on discipline. That is exactly why so many people are living lives where they feel defeated. But now you know the truth about what it takes to succeed. If you want to master your life, you have to be the general of your army. You must train your mind just as Machiavelli would have trained his own troops. You have to do it without mercy, without excuses, and without making concessions. On the great battlefield of life, being indisciplined is a slow death sentence. It is a sure way to fail and to never achieve your true potential. If discipline is what builds your inner strength, then you need to understand more. We need to explore how Machiavelli thought about skill versus luck. In Machiavelli's brutal and honest view of the world, fate is not a just thing. It does not simply reward the good people and punish the bad ones. Fate is a blind and relentless force, like a powerful flood. It sweeps away anyone who is unprepared and destroys cities that are not well protected. Here is a truth that very few people have the courage to face. If you are not strong enough to govern your own life, chance will do it. And luck, for Machiavelli, is a mistress that is always changing her mind. She might smile upon people who are bold, but she definitely scorns the weak. In his book, The Prince, Machiavelli uses a powerful metaphor for fortune. He says that fortune is like a river that can become enraged and cause floods. But this does not prevent men from taking precautions. During times of calm, they can build barriers and dikes to protect themselves from the raging river. The world is unpredictable, violent, and does not care about your dreams. Those who simply expect luck to smile on them are setting themselves up for ruin. Only the people who build internal dikes can survive. This means having a disciplined mind and an unbreakable will to withstand the storms that will surely come. This is where the idea of virtue comes in. It is not about virtue in a moral sense. It is about your own internal power and strength. It is the ability to adapt and act with strength. It means using intelligence and resilience when you are faced with very difficult times and adversity. It means you are shaping the circumstances around you. You are not just letting circumstances shape you. This is what it means to have discipline in action. Great men, for Machiavelli, do not just depend on luck. They find ways to challenge it, bend it to their will, and use it as a tool. They build up their defenses long before the flood comes. They train their minds for war, while other people are still sleeping and dreaming of success. Now, you should look at your own life with that same brutal honesty. How many times have you just waited for your circumstances to get better on their own? How many times have you hidden behind the convenient excuse that the moment just was not right? Fortune is unpredictable, but it is not all-powerful. Today, the word discipline has been hijacked by the self-help industry. It has been turned into a simple product that is sold with easy slogans. They say that to be disciplined, you just have to create automatic habits. They tell you to use apps and planners as if that could solve everything. This modern view of discipline is a complete farce. Machiavelli would laugh at how naive this modern view of such a powerful concept has become. He knew that true discipline is not something that is comfortable. It is not easy, and it is not something that you can just install in your life. Discipline is pain. It is a war that you declare against everything inside of you that is weak, lazy, and cowardly. You must fight it every day. You fail because you have been taught to always look for shortcuts. You have been trained to believe that if you find the right habit, life becomes easy. But real discipline does not come from living a life of comfort. It is born from confrontation with the parts of yourself that you do not like. It is not about waking up and feeling inspired to act. It is about acting even when your body is tired and your mind wants to surrender. Machiavelli taught that those who wait for the perfect moment are already defeated. Preparation for the storm has to be done when the weather is still calm. Discipline has to be built on the boring, monotonous days. It is in the silent moments and the invisible battles that your true power is forged. The modern mindset treats failure as if it is something normal. You are taught to forgive yourself too easily and reward yourself for small victories. But while you are making excuses, your potential is rotting away inside of you. Modern discipline is based on your emotions and your mood. The discipline that Machiavelli describes is structural. It completely ignores your mood. It despises your motivation because it is a mental fortress made of stone. If you want to build the kind of discipline that forges empires, you must do what most people will never do. You must abandon your need for comfort. It is now time to abandon all of the empty theories. If you truly want to win in life, you need to turn discipline into a brutal daily practice. It is not enough to just understand the importance of discipline as a concept. You need to build a structure that is solid and can withstand anything. Here is the method you can use. First, you must have constant vigilance. This means you need to observe yourself every single day without any exceptions. Next, you need a clear strategy with routines that eliminate decisions. Your brain will always choose the easy path, so you must create rigid routines as your guide.